welcome to NewsX World. I'm Asuma Katauka and you are watching Hollywood Calling. From celebrity scoops to film and music buzz, here's your quick look at what's making headlines in entertainment today. Trump claims credit for Colbert's late-night exit. Targets Kimmel and Fallon as well next. But Colbert fires back on air with star-studded support as politics and entertainment collide in a fiery showdown shaking up the future of comedy of TV. Anne Hathaway and Meryl Streep stun in first looks for The Devil Wears Prada 2, as original cast returns for 2026 sequel, sparking massive fan excitement, high fashion buzz, and a nostalgic reunion years in the making. James Gunn breaks silence on replacing Henry Cavill as Superman, calls it a bummer but necessary for DC's future. As David Corenswet takes flight as the new Man of Steel, fans react to the franchise's emotional reboot. James Cameron's Avatar: Fire and Ash trailer drops with controversy as Disney limits screening to theaters only. Fans criticize the move as outdated, spark online backlash, memes, and rumors of a 4K leak ahead of its official release. Late-night TV just got political. Again, US President Donald Trump is taking credit for the end of The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. And here he is now targeting Jimmy Kimmel and Jimmy Fallon next. But Colbert didn't stay silent. He fired back with a stinging on-air response and rallied support from some of late night's biggest names. Here's a deeper look at how the showdown escalated.
President Donald Trump has now taken aim at Jimmy Kimmel and Jimmy Fallon, saying they will be the next to go after Stephen Colbert's late-night exit. In a fiery Truth Social post, Trump wrote, "These are people with absolutely no talent. It's really good to see them go, and I hope I played a major part in it." Trump celebrated CBS's decision to cancel The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, calling it a win and slamming Colbert's talent and ratings in one brutal swipe. Stephen Colbert, never one to hold back, fired back at Trump during his Monday night monologue with a bleeped-out, biting message, "Go F yourself." The late-night host mocked Trump's post live on air, turning into an eloquence cam before delivering the jab to thunderous cheers from the studio audience. Colbert joked that there's room for only one martyr in late night and vowed to spend his final 10 months on air speaking the unvarnished truth about Trump. A surprise show of solidarity lit up Monday night as Jimmy Fallon, Seth Meyers, John Oliver, Jon Stewart and Andy Cohen showed up to support Colbert. The moment turned emotional and comedic, with the hosts joining a Coldplay spoof segment that ended with cheers, laughter and an unmistakable sense of unity. Colbert also poked fun at Paramount's financial reasoning for cancelling the show, saying their musical segment was axed due to a purely financial decision. With Colbert's finale set for May 2026 and Trump taking aim at his rivals, the battle between politics and late-night comedy is heating up like never before. Bureau Report, NewsX World.
After months of fan speculation, director James Gunn has finally opened up about replacing Henry Cavill as Superman, calling it a total bummer and a tough call for the DC universe. But Gunn says he always planned to cast a new Man of Steel, and David Corenswet seems to be soaring. Here's the full story. Let's dive into the full details.
Director James Gunn has broken his silence on replacing Henry Cavill as Superman, calling the situation really unfair and a total bummer for the former DC star. Speaking on the Happy, Sad, Confused podcast, Gunn revealed that Cavill's return was prematurely announced even though plans for a reboot were already underway. Gunn said he and producer Peter Safran chose to sit down with Cavill personally, describing the actor as a complete gentleman during the difficult conversation. Gunn stressed that parts of the studio tried to force their own DC vision, causing confusion, but confirmed he always planned to cast a new Superman. While Cavill is no longer in the cape, Gunn hinted he may return to the DC universe in a different role in future films. Meanwhile, David Corenswet's debut as the new Man of Steel in Gunn's Superman is drawing praise from fans and critics alike. Former Superman actor Brandon Routh called Corenswet fantastic in the role, revealing he cried no less than 3 times while watching the film. Routh said the emotional weight of Corenswet's performance, especially in scenes with Lois Lane, left a lasting impression on him. Routh urged fans to support the reboot in theatres, posting a heartfelt message of love to Gunn and the new cast on Instagram. With box office numbers already crossing $400 million worldwide, Superman is flying high, marking a bold new chapter in the DC universe. Bureau reports, NewsX World.
Now we are joined by Joshua Barnes. He's an anchor and correspondent at NewsX World. Joshua, what more can you tell us about this exciting reboot of Man of Steel?
Asuma, this reboot has gained popularity online, but also at the box office. We have seen good domestic figures in the United States. Opening weekend and opening week, $125 million for Superman 2025, the reboot, of course, with a new actor at the helm playing Clark Kent, alongside, of course, a love story with Lois Lane. Fans online liking this movie as well. Internet Movie Database scoring it at a 7.6. That, of course, is from fans. Also, Rotten Tomatoes putting it in the 80s in terms of percent, 84% currently. But the film hasn't done as well abroad as it has in America. There is some support waning in other countries. This, of course, a huge release worldwide. We see this often with superhero movies, fanfare across the globe, pushing forward real core fan base for superhero movies. And of course, Superman for DC is one of their flagship films. Clark Kent is a character who was run through from comics and also movie adaptations of those comics for over 50 years, long over 50 years. And this, of course, is a new point, a turning point for DC after Henry Cavill was Superman, the British actor coming through television, starring in several films. Of course, the previous Man of Steel, then updated, and it is now a new actor. There were some question marks raised over that change. The Man of Steel films with Henry Cavill weren't received as well as this film has, so potentially that move to change the leading actor was a positive one. But it is interesting to hear those comments from the director on this podcast, of course, talking about a difficult conversation that had to be had with Henry Cavill. Potential sort of speculation mounting that Henry Cavill would continue in the role. The director clearly stating that wasn't the case, and somebody new, David Corenswet, would take over as the man in the cape, Superman. So questions, of course, have been had about those conversations, but it's been put to bed in this podcast. Clear comments there saying that Cavill is a gentleman, and he's somebody, of course, who dealt with this professionally. Whether there are further questions behind the scenes, of course, for Cavill, the role of Superman, a hugely notorious role. We've seen other actors in the past play superheroes and be sort of catapulted into the stratosphere of Hollywood. You think of Robert Downey Jr. with his role as Iron Man, really catapulting his career and turning it round. You also think of previous actors within DC and Marvel. Got somebody like Hugh Jackman, of course, as Wolverine. That really catapulted his career. Spider-Man as well. These movies are a staple in many people's lives. Everyone a fan of Marvel is always looking out for who the next hero will be, or the villain in certain cases. But this is a situation which happens in Hollywood. Actors get changed, sometimes in the same franchise between movies. Characters get changed. If you think of Batman, in the Batman Begins series, there was a change to the characters there in that movie as well. So it's common, but it's been dealt with clearly behind the scenes, and now these public comments showing that it was an amicable split from Henry Cavill, and it seems that the audiences are loving the new actor and the new Superman.
Thank you very much, Joshua Barnes, for joining us and sharing that insight. Now we move on to our next news. James Cameron's Avatar: Fire and Ash trailer is finally here, but fans are not celebrating. The trailer will screen exclusively in the theaters this weekend. only before Fantastic Four. First Steps, Disney says it's a cross-promotion move, but online reaction has been sharp. Many fans are slamming the decision, calling it outdated and exclusionary. Some even joked they'll watch it on TikTok instead. Rumors of a 4K leak are already making rounds, adding more heat to the controversy. Katy Perry has faced a terrifying moment on stage in San Francisco when a mid-air prop malfunctioned midway through her performance. The singer, who was performing on a giant butterfly, regained her balance and continued without any injury. Similar incidents have been reported during her tour and other stage shows recently. Let's have a look at how this incident unfolded during her performance.
Katy Perry experienced a scare on stage on Friday night when her mid-air prop malfunctioned during a concert in San Francisco. While performing Raw on a giant fake butterfly, the prop suddenly dropped several feet above the crowd before stabilizing. Perry, 40, briefly stopped singing, regained her balance and continued the performance without injury. The incident took place during her Lifetime's tour at the Chase Center and happened towards the end of the show. Perry appeared to acknowledge the scare on Instagram, posting a screenshot of the moment with the caption, "Good night, San Fran." Representatives for Katy Perry have not yet commented on the mid-air malfunction. The incident follows a similar scare in Australia, where a tilting prop forced Perry to cling to her safety wires mid-performance. A similar mid-air issue also occurred last month at Beyoncé's concert in Houston, forcing the star to pause her show briefly. Bureau Report, NewsX World.
Rock legend Ozzy Osbourne has died at 76-year-old. Just weeks after his final show with Black Sabbath, the Prince of Darkness leaves behind a legacy that defined heavy metal. Now, his famous stage-worn jackets, a signed copy of Blizzard of Oz, and guitar used by Randy Rhoads are set to be auctioned. The items are expected to fetch thousands, with one guitar valued at over $100,000. Fans will soon bid for a piece of music history. Selena Gomez turned 33 in style. The singer threw a disco-themed party with fiancé Benny Blanco and bestie Taylor Swift by her side. Dressed in sequins and fur, Gomez lit up the night. But the real surprise, a green heart-shaped birthday cake topped with pickle-shaped candles, a tribute to her favorite snack. She also wore a dazzling diamond necklace worth over 20 carats. The one-of-a-kind piece will be auctioned later this year to support the Jane Goodall Institute. Paul Wesley is engaged. The Vampire Diaries star popped the question to model Natalie Kuchenberg during a romantic trip to Italy. Natalie shared a news on her Instagram with a glowing ring shot and the caption, "Always and Forever." Paul followed with a sweet selfie and a heart emoji. The couple has been together for 3 years. This marks Paul's third engagement. Fans are celebrating the actor's next chapter in love. Dakota and Elle Fanning are finally teaming up on the big screen. The sisters will star together in The Nightingale, a movie adaptation of Kristen Hanna's bestseller. It marks their first time sharing scenes, despite both appearing in I Am Sam years ago. The film follows two sisters in World War II France. The Fannings will also produce the movie with Reese Witherspoon's Hello Sunshine. The Nightingale hits theaters in February 2027. Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis lit up the red carpet at the Freakier Friday premiere in Los Angeles. The stars reunited at El Capitan Theater to celebrate the sequel to their 2003 hit. Lohan's Parent Trap co-stars Elaine Hendricks and Lisa Ann Walter also joined the fun. The film picks up years later with a new family body swap. Director Nisha Ganatra promises heart and humor. Freakier Friday hits screens soon, with lightning striking twice. Anne Hathaway and Meryl Streep are back in action for The Devil Wears Prada 2. Anne has dropped the first look as Andy Sachs Stunning in a blue jumpsuit, fans couldn't stop gushing over her fashion comeback. Meanwhile, new pictures show Meryl Streep as Miranda Priestley, dressed to kill in her signature icy blonde hair and bold couture. The original cast, including Emily Blunt, returns for the 2026 sequel. Social media is buzzing with excitement as fans call this dream reunion. With the fashion stakes high and nostalgia even higher, Prada 2 is already making headlines. Now we're joined by Arnab Banerjee. He's a film critic, joins us live from Delhi. Thank you for joining us today. Welcome to NewsX World. Now, what was your reaction about this upcoming Devil's Wear Prada 2?
Am I audible?
Yes, Arnab. I was asking, what was your reaction about this upcoming Devil Wears Prada Part 2?
I think the first one was a fantastic film with two great actresses together. Meryl Streep, of course, is actress par excellence. Nobody can beat her. But I also like the chemistry and also, the unusual theme. Because normally what happens is in films, particularly you see two rivals or a relationship between a boss and a subordinate, very toxic, generally. But here, there is a reason for her being so rude and, slightly impertinent. But I think I'm really looking forward to watching the sequel because both of them were great. Meryl Streep, of course, is someone everybody loves watching, but even Anne Hathaway, I think she did a great job. And it was a very unusual kind of a film. And I'm really excited to see what is going to happen in the sequel. Because I'm sure they'll take it forward, if not as a sequel, as a story that goes ahead, but as something where two actresses clash once again. And I really think that it's going to be something worth watching and worth waiting.
And Arnab, now so far I've seen some things online that people are speculating about the storyline. What will this storyline look like? Can you tell us if you have seen something or your guesses about the storyline of Devil Wears Prada 2?
Can you repeat, please? Sorry.
Yes, Arnab. So I asked, what do you think will be the storyline for this upcoming movie, Devil Wears Prada?
To guess. As per reports, it's going to be as exciting as the first one. I've just read one or two reports in the media. That's it. But I'm sure because the expectations are very high, it's going to be as exciting as the first one. A sequel getting made after so many years, people are really agog with excitement. And a lot of the young generation may not have seen the original, the first part. So I'm sure they would want to catch it on YouTube or wherever it's available. So it's difficult to say what exactly is going to be the theme of the sequel, but I'm sure it will be something really that we will all look forward to.
Thank you very much, Arnab Banerjee, for joining us today and sharing your insight as a movie critic. Now we move on to our next news. Hollywood star Jason Momoa has reacted with mixed emotions to his son Nakoa-Wolf's acting debut in Dune 3. Speaking at the premiere of Chief of War in Hawaii, Momoa said he initially tried to keep his son away from acting, but now he's so proud, calling his son loud like his father. Momoa believes Nakoa will outshine him. Industry buzz suggests the 16-year-old could play a young Atreides or Fremen character as Dune Messiah takes shape. Singer Connie Francis, a pop icon of the 1950s and 60s, has died at 87. Her publicist confirmed the news, but no cause of death was given. Known for classics like Stupid Cupid and Who's Sorry Now, Francis was a top-charting vocalist of her era. She recently shared health updates revealing she had been hospitalized. Born in New Jersey, she rose from talent contests to global fame. Her last message to fans came on July 4th, wishing them well. Steve Jobs' youngest daughter, Eve Jobs, is set to marry British Olympian Harry Charles this week in a lavish $6.7 million ceremony. The star-studded wedding will take place in England's Cotswolds. Guests include Kamala Harris, Princess Beatrice, and the Gates sisters. Elton John is set to perform. Eve, a model and equestrian, was born in 1998 to Steve Jobs and Laureen Powell. The event promises glamour, celebrities, and a whole lot of style. Taylor Swift takes over Madame Tussauds with 13 new wax figures unveiled across 4 continents. From Berlin to Sydney, each statue sports a look from her Eras tour. This is the museum's biggest project in 250 years. It took 40 artists 14 months to complete. The global reveal has Swifties rushing to book tickets. The statues will be on display in 13 cities, including New York, London, and Shanghai. The display opens to the public on July 24th onwards. That's a wrap on Hollywood Calling for today. Your daily dose of stars, style, and stories returns soon.